The ceasefire between Hamas and Israel is now in effect. Last night, Israel's cabinet approved President Trump's peace deal. Now the clock is ticking on the 72-hour deadline for the release of all the hostages in Gaza.
Well, not every cabinet member approved of the plan. Those opposed called the release of the Palestinian terrorists who have murdered Israelis an unbearable price to pay. CBN's Julie Stahl has more.
The Israeli government approved President Trump's deal to free the hostages held by Hamas and end the war in Gaza.
We fought during these 2 years to achieve our war aims. And the central one of these war aims is to return the hostages, all of the hostages, the living and the dead.
The IDF said its troops are now adjusting operational positions in the Gaza Strip for the implementation of the agreement. Trump said this is a momentous breakthrough in the Middle East.
We ended the war in Gaza and really, on a much bigger basis, created peace. And I think it's going to be a lasting peace, hopefully an everlasting peace. Peace in the Middle East. We secured the release of all of the remaining hostages, and they should be released on Monday or Tuesday.
Trump is due to visit Israel and the Middle East briefly next week, and he has been invited to address the Knesset, Israel's parliament. Many Israelis are rejoicing over the promised return of the 48 hostages, 20 of whom are believed to still be alive, held for more than 2 years now. In exchange, Israel is releasing nearly 2,000 prisoners, 250 of them serving life sentences. Some cabinet ministers voted against the plan. Ben-Gvir said that while our hearts are filled with joy, happiness, and excitement over the return of the hostages, it's impossible to ignore the price Israel is paying by releasing terrorists and murderers from prison. He asked Witkoff and Kushner, "Would you make peace with Hitler? Hamas is Hitler. They want to kill us." David Badin of the Center for Near East Policy Research says, according to Arabic language media, Hamas has not agreed to a ceasefire, only a hudna, a temporary cessation of hostilities in order to regroup. Hamas official Khalil al-Hayya says Hamas will continue its work until Palestinian aspirations are fulfilled.
We will continue to work with national and Islamic forces to complete the remaining steps, working to achieve the interests of our Palestinian people, enabling them to determine their own destiny and fulfill their rights. This will continue until the establishment of an independent state with Jerusalem as its capital.
The U.S. is sending up to 200 troops to monitor and oversee the ceasefire deal. Other peacekeepers will likely include Egyptian, Qatari, Turkish, and Emirati forces. Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Thank you, Julie. CBN News senior White House correspondent Kelly Wright joins us now for more. Kelly, President Trump is getting a lot of praise for this ceasefire. From your perspective, how did he get this done?
Good morning to you, Andrew. So the president got this done, not only from my perspective, but actually from what happened, and that was through power. He appeared to be a strong man in the Middle East, and the Middle East represents or actually really honors men who are strong. The president had actually proven to be unpredictable. He was willing to use power, which previous presidents were not willing to do. He used that powerful strike against Iran. That woke up a lot of people. He was definitely strong against Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthi rebels, even taking out Houthi rebels there from the Navy strikes upon them. And then you have to look at the fact that he has always talked about peace through strength. That's exactly what this boiled down to, peace through strength. He showed strength. And in short, Hamas had had enough and they were brought to the table. The other thing that he did, Andrew, behind the scenes, you'll recall that meeting between he and Bibi Netanyahu just a couple of weeks ago at the White House. And the president at that time, the first thing he did before coming out with any type of public announcement of that 20-point plan, he had Bibi call Al-Thani, the prime minister of Qatar, and actually had the two men with him on the line talk about the differences and having Bibi apologized to Al-Thani for that strike on Qatar to try to take out Hamas leaders, and it didn't result in Hamas leaders being taken out, but a Qatari soldier. Once that deal was done, and that apology was made. They made a fast track to get some diplomacy done. The president basically handling Bibi Netanyahu while Qatar handled Hamas as well as Erdogan of Turkey. So the president put everything together and continued to show that he's a strong man, unpredictable, willing to use power, and willing to make peace through strength.
Earlier this week, you spoke with the president about the plan in the Oval Office, and he talked about the hostages. What did he tell you?
You know, the hostages were very close to his heart. And when I asked him the question about if the hostages had been in communication with him, he said, yes, they have called me. He was talking about a few of them who had called, and they were saying, Mr. President, this is unbelievable. They expressed their gratitude. And he went on to say it's almost like they couldn't breathe because they couldn't contain themselves, realizing that this peace deal was about to happen and that they would be seeing the return of their loved ones. And he said it's also a sad moment because not every hostage is going to come back alive. And he talked about, as he's done before, how some of these parents just want to see their child brought back home. Dead, and then he said it's really a sad situation, but at the same time, it's a hopeful and joyful situation for those who will be celebrating the 20 hostages who are believed to still be alive. So it's a very somber moment and yet a joyful moment for the president himself. He also expressed that he realized that the Israeli people would be celebrating in the streets as they are, we've seen in Hostage Square in Tel Aviv and throughout Israel. This is quite a moment for the Israelis, but they're also wary of the future. And the president wants to be sure that he can actually make sure that Hamas disarms and that the 20-point plan that he's put together will be followed through.
Okay, Kelly, last question. We're learning that 200 American troops will monitor the peace. What's their role? How difficult will these next steps be?
Okay, so their role is going to be logistics. They will not be putting boots on the ground in Gaza. They will be stationed in Israel, those 200 troops, and they will be there to help oversee or help manage the huge logistical operation that this is going to be. You have to realize that there are 2 million Gazans still living there, and it's decimated up to 90%. So from the Israeli side, the United States military, those boots on the ground, those 200 soldiers or military members will be actually operating with not only Israel, but the other forces that will be at work. And then on the ground in Gaza, our understanding is that Arab forces will be on the ground, most of them will be Qataris and some others to make sure that, one, Hamas disarms. But the U.S. involvement in terms of the military is logistical at this point.
Okay, Kelly Wright, thanks so much for joining us. Always appreciate you being with us.
All right.
In other news, a major storm is set to hit the East Coast this weekend. John Jessup has more on that story from our CBN News Bureau in Washington. John.
Thanks, Andrew. Millions of people along the East Coast are bracing for another round of wicked weather as a storm gathers near the southeast coast late Friday. It's expected to strengthen into a nor'easter as it moves up the coast Saturday, bringing as much as 3 inches of rain and wind gusts up to 60 miles an hour. Coastal areas are expecting flooding Sunday and Monday, possibly into Tuesday. Officials in Charleston, South Carolina, are predicting water levels could reach as much as 8 feet. Well, the 56th annual Dove Awards lit up Nashville as the Gospel Music Association drew the most celebrated names in Christian music in a night to honor God, celebrate the gospel, and spotlight the artists who inspire millions. CBN's Ephraim Graham brings us the sights and sounds from the red carpet.
Music City, Nashville, Tennessee is home to gospel and Christian music's biggest night, and we're here on the red carpet to bring you up close and personal for the 56th annual Dove Awards. How does it feel, 56th annual Dove Awards? Do walking these red carpets get old, or?
I mean, it feels great. I'm so grateful to be here, man. The gifts that God has given people, they're going to share that tonight.
It just is a real honor to be here, and we're doing it for the culture, man.
My favorite part about it is the community. This is what the night is all about for me.
This is very timely because we need to see pictures of unity.
Do the nominations get old?
Never. I still want to scream at all my neighbors, oh my gosh, guess what just happened today?
Do these things get old for you guys?
No, this is such a good atmosphere to be in. It's such an atmosphere of faith and love. It's a blessing. to be acknowledged and recognized for the work and service that you give to the kingdom.
Why is this music so important now?
Because it shares the good news.
I feel like these are songs for the moment.
Like, it's more than art. It's a message. Like, it's like from our family to your family.
I think we found a lot of purpose in creating a soundtrack for this next generation.
At this time in our culture and in our world, never has there been a time where we needed to celebrate more and come together.
I think now more than ever, people are hungry for truth, and I believe that we've got some answers.
The Dove Awards broadcast airs exclusively on TBN and the TBN Plus app tonight, Friday, October 10th at 7:30 and 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and simulcast on Sirius XM, The Message. Andrew, Charlene, looked like it was a great night.
Yeah, thank you, John. Ephraim, it looked like he had a good time out there. A lot happened in a minute and a half in that little clip. A lot of big names there. Yeah. You came in here talking this morning about Torrin Wells, who's a friend of the 700 Club, been on the show.
Yeah.
And
he hosted the Dove Awards, and he had an amazing time hosting because he literally preached the gospel. He had his Bible in his hand, and what he was saying just lit up the entire audience.
So this is on social media because it hasn't aired yet, so to speak.
Yeah, it's going to air. You'll see it tonight. But he was preaching about how this is a celebration of what Jesus has done for everyone who is there in the audience. Because without Jesus Christ, there would be no songs, there would be no stories, there would be no platforms, there would be no Instagram followers. It is all about what Jesus Christ has done for every person in that building. It was powerful what he said.
Do you think that was in response to the fact that one of the artists who's so popular, Forrest Frank, would not be attending award ceremonies, he said? Do you think it was in response to that?
Well, Torrin literally said God had given him this message like a week before. So this was before Forrest came out and saying that he would not be attending. But, I mean, it is a powerful reminder of why these artists do what they do. It is because of what Jesus has done.
Well, check it out tonight. It'll be airing.
Amen.